the intelligence energy of the Creator and are a part of the All-One. The Law of One is the sacred science of the mechanics of Christ consciousness. So their natural laws governing our universal creation. All one is the recognition that eternal truth is eternal love, and eternal love is the organic consciousness of the infinite Creator. I am that I am. Eternal love consciousness embodied in a form is unity intelligence and simultaneously recognized as the inner light of the Christos. Unity consciousness is at one with God, and unity consciousness ignites the inner light of the Christos energy. Now this slide shows us about the lower aspect, and we get caught up in this level of intelligence in the 3D, and we don't even move up into the love consciousness, which is in the 4th energy center, the speaking truth consciousness of the 5th, the seeing the truth, which is in our 6th energy center, and the connection to God through the 7th energy center. So we, in the 3rd dimension, we stay down these lower layers of our consciousness and use them in ways that don't allow us to move up the chakra centers. So it's important for us to recognize this and move into the love consciousness, because that will move us the rest of the way. Kind of need to go back a little bit. I'm going to stop the share for just a sec and see if I can go back on that. Okay, let's see where that PowerPoint is. I'm going to go back from the beginning again. Oh, I was unable to do that. So hopefully it's on share again. Go back into Zoom. Okay, go back into the share. See if we can't bring those slides back up. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this for now. Oh, I'm going to go through the Law of One a little bit more. It's made up of all things, and it's made of intelligent energy that is a part of the All-One. The Law of One is a sacred science of mechanics of Christ consciousness. All-One is the recognition that eternal truth is eternal love, and eternal love is organic consciousness from the infinite Creator. So getting ourselves back into the Christ consciousness, to embody the Christ consciousness means to embody the Word of God. And the Word of God is everything that came out of the mouth of God and through the mouth of all of the prophets and servants of God, including, the Buddha, including all of these enlightened beings who have taught us over the centuries. God has never abandoned us. He's actually sent people who represent the at one consciousness at all times on the planet. And our problem as humans was we turned away from those teachings in order to follow our own desires, which were in the lower 3 chakras. So, to rebuild the architecture of the diamond sun body upon this earth and reassemble the holographic template of the Christo-Sophia. Now, Christo-Sophia just means the divine masculine combined with the divine feminine. And we have to combine this template of Christo-Sophia recorded through the past, present, and future timelines, we must learn about the law of one, then seek to align ourselves with the law, allowing our behaviors and actions to be congruent with it so that we can embody more and more of our own divinity again. Our human perfection that is represented in the highest expression of who we are, designed to be a God, sovereign, free being, or cosmic Christ citizen. That doesn't mean an enslaved human being who vibrates in lower vibration. It means vibrating in the one consciousness. Okay. Now, the Christo-Sophia reflects the perfection of the law of gender inherent with the solar logos principle. Logos is a teaching, a higher teaching of higher principles. The principle made manifest and is reflected as the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine, unified and made whole, that which is made in the true image of the Godhead. Christo-Sophia is the path of spiritual ascension that leads to the inner discovery of the spark of divinity that exists within the sacred crystal heart and is found within all creation. The inner path of Christo-Sophia is taken through gradual spiritual initiations that are designed to unite the polarities that exist between the inner and the outer in the world of the forces that alchemically shift our light body into stages of increasing energetic balance. So this is a process, and like we talked about last week, we start out in an initiation, and as we move through the process, we gather piece by piece. You know, in the scriptures we're taught principles in little pieces, and as we put those pieces together, we get ready for the ascension. So getting ourselves into Christ consciousness, we have to watch our thoughts because they become words. We watch our words because they become actions. We watch our actions because they become habits. We watch our habits because they become our character. And we watch our character because it becomes our destiny. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up again, because that was a previous slide, is in order to get ourselves into the Christ consciousness, we have to become that consciousness. And the Christ consciousness is one with the law of one. And so now I'm going to go ahead and do some questions and answers. Let me stop the share. Go up here and let's go ahead and unmute everybody. Who's got a question?
I do.
Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Scott, this is Carola.
Yes.
I wanted to tell you thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm very thankful for this Thanksgiving for all of this information. And I've got 3 questions, actually.
Oh, go ahead.
The first one is during the crystal toning. You know, I thought that was pretty interesting. Can we have our own melody or come up with whatever? Do we have to?
Yes, you can go to the internet and find that on YouTube. That is actually the newer form, which has the ha instead of the ah for the crystal energy. Now, when you talk about that, it's very important that we kind of listen to this kind of toning and stuff. And I have been taught how to do toning to raise the vibration of people to a higher more healthy consciousness. So this new toning that we talked about today is something that God created for us to listen to and bring us into alignment with the voice of God. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I'll look that up. Now, the second, the third questions are pretty related, but during these decrees and such, well, I'm just reading 3 different of the I Am books at once. The ones that Jane and anyway that you sent me, so I'm gobbling it up. One is the Decrees book, and I'm enjoying those. I'm doing the Mighty I Am Violet Flame, or the Mighty Consuming Flame, and there's a lot of decrees there. Now I'm wondering, does this 24-strand DNA activation and the decree for creating divine order in my life, do those replace many of the, that whole book full of decrees? Because I'm going front to back.
As I went through the training of the Mighty I Am Presence and Saint Germain, I learned that there's many, many ways we can clear our auric field. And when Saint Germain appeared to me and gave me the 24-strand DNA manifestation, he said, Scott, this is a concise, all-encompassing decree, and I want you to use that for chapter 11. And chapter 12, he said, I want chapter 12 to be about the 12 double helix, or the 24-stranded DNA, because that's the other important thing, to get rid of the Nephilian and the Anunnaki DNA that was transplanted into our DNA to keep us in the reincarnation cycle. So in order to go through the ascension process, we not only need to surround ourselves and decree the violet flame to clear our auric field and all of the clutter, but also clear our DNA out. And through that process, and then learning about the law of one and the laws of God and living them, we actually will prepare ourselves to go through the ascension. Now remember, we only have to do 51%. We just got to get ourselves just a little bit beyond, and they will bring us the rest of the way. So I hope that explains that a little bit, because you don't have to go through all of the Saint Germain books anymore. That was made for the people back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And now we're so close to the time where the planet is going to ascend, we need to accelerate ourselves by doing very basic things. Does that answer it?
Yes. So the next couple of, I've got 2 more questions. Is it do we need to have, I have so many questions about the I Am, and I don't want to take up people's time, but would you suggest that we continue on with maybe the I Am question classes, or just keep on doing the decree?
From what Saint Germain, yes, from what Saint Germain has taught me, he says, know the basics. Know the basics so that you can go beyond the basics and move on to the true intelligence gathering of God. So as we align our DNA, perfect our DNA, and literally remove the damaged DNA from the Anunnaki and all of our stuff we've done over eons of time, our intelligence starts returning to us, which allows us to go into higher thinking, higher dimensions. Right now, all of you are experiencing ascension type changes because you're on this path And most of you have already done this path before, so it's coming back as second nature because you've been here, done it before. But as we were born into this world, we received DNA that was imperfect. We also have lived lives with other imperfect beings, and it rubs off on us. And so now we're doing what we call a clearing of all of this through the violet flame, through the perfection of our DNA, and through the raising of our consciousness, doing decrees and protecting us from the negative energies that are around us. Those three things will allow us to get into the Trinity consciousness of the crystal heart body, which is the fifth dimensional plasma and light body that we're going to ascend into. Okay?
Yes. One more. When is your next mentoring session going to start?
Saint Germain has told me this is not going to end until we go through the ascension. So literally, I'm going to continue teaching. In fact, Saint Germain had me develop the next set of mentoring. Now, he wants each of you to become teachers also. Now, we use a different term. We call ourselves mentors, but a mentor is someone who helps teach people. And we raise their consciousness so they can get more light, knowledge, and abundance. Because abundance and prosperity, believe it or not, are a very important thing that Saint Germain wants us to accomplish. Now, you ask yourself, well, geez, I barely have enough I can give along here. But you know, as we start creating and becoming higher beings, we start being able to manifest whatever is needed for us and for others. And so, in other words, the next session is going to be, again, a mentoring for mentors, but Vicky is going to help me because we need both the feminine and the masculine dynamic. And Vicky is a personal, excellent example of the divine feminine energy. And so between us, Saint Germain told me I need to mentor for mentors with the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and help and assist you and answer your questions as we go along. We're going to be starting that the first part of March. I know we're going to have a little bit of a deficit, but what I would do is go to YouTube and review all of these teachings as you go along, especially if you don't understand them totally. And just continue on the path of being on the path toward your ascension. Does that make sense? So this is not going to end. Saint Germain said, once you bring people on the path, you never abandon them. You continue meeting together and improving yourselves. Even I have come a long way, even just doing this 12-week mentoring. You know, believe it or not, I've done every assignment. And I've had some really interesting elevations to my energy and to my healing. Now, one of the reasons we're not going to have anything for a while is Vicky and I are going to attend a session in Dubai with Joe Dispenza. Now, why are we doing this? Because Joe Dispenza is teaching people how to go into the void, which is where God created everything from nothing. Literally, the void is no time, nobody, no space, just, you know, there's nothing there. And God created everything through going to the void, which was what existed before the universe was created, and through his love created everything. And believe